Hello, everybody. This is Question Mark once again, coming at you with another unboxing of Magic the Gathering cards. Today I'm doing something a little different that I haven't done before, though. I am opening some Secret Lairs. So different people have different opinions about Secret Lairs, about whether or not they're healthy for the game itself, whether it's, pure corporate greed, Wizards getting into the singles market, whether they individually are good deals, or generally if they, or if they allow for personal expression on a level never seen before, and, and they're not harming anyone by existing. They're only driving prices down and providing people with more options. I'm on all of those sides. I agree with all of those sentiments. I think it is all of those things. It is a product primarily for whales. But all that said, up until recently, I think I have been a whale. I'm going to be budgeting myself a little bit more going forward, which is part of the reason why I didn't buy every Secret Lair that was available this last time. Because the cards that are in here are the Shocklands, which individually run anywhere from like $8, I want to say, to maybe $25. The most expensive of which is the breeding pool, the green-blue land. And I didn't actually own a breeding pool, which is why I wanted to get this. The whole box for the non-foil versions, I believe, was $30. So that's what I paid for a $25 land plus some other stuff. Also, in the back of these, they include one bonus card, which is kind of a surprise. In the past, they were always stained glass foil planeswalkers from War of the Spark. But they've been doing that for a long time now, and people are starting to see other things showing up. So I'm curious if I got anything fancy, anything special this time around. But also I want to just take a look at the print quality. I want to see if there's a surprise down there as what the bonus thing is. And, we can just talk about what we're seeing here. There's a bit to talk about. And, that's really part of what this whole channel is about so far, what this series is about. It's just, chatting about Magic. We've all been spending a lot of time at home the last couple of years. I know I have. And I haven't had as many chances to just hang out with fellow Magic players and talk about the game. So we're opening this, and we start with Hallowed Fountain, which I have a couple copies of. But I'm noticing something right off the bat here. I think you can... Oh yeah, you can see it. There's a smudge right there between the word fountain and the word May. Does it come off with a little pressure? No. Maybe no. Okay, well, I'm likely going to have to deal with that. There's some little specks up there, but I think those might be birds in the art. Yeah, they look like they're probably birds in the art. So, one of the interesting things about this Shockland series, though, is that they all use unique art, and the Shocklands in the past have all been exclusively set on Ravnica. So, part of this cycle of the 10 Shocklands is that they are all set on planes other than Ravnica. So this one is Valor's Reach, which is where Battle Bond is set. I believe that's not the name of the plane. That's the name of the arena or the mountain or something that the arena is on. In any case, 2 statues stand watch over the entrance to Valor's Reach, celebrating its twin founders and its first champions. Oh yeah, because Battle Bond is all about two-headed giants, so of course there's 2 of them. Also, I'm noticing, is that another smudge on the right side of the text box right there? Yeah, it sure is. Okay, so we got some smudges here. Well, that's a shame. That's a shame, you hate to see it. But that's part of what I want to report here. These cards are printed on a shorter turnaround time than most Magic cards, I think, because they are print to order. that they take orders, and then after the orders are complete, they start printing them to meet the demand, or, maybe overlapping a little bit based on some assumptions. But and then they ship them out. It still takes a few months. So I ordered these like 4 or 5 months ago, something like that. But this is what you get, is, hit or miss, to be honest. And if it's missed hard enough, if these things are genuinely messed up in some way, I know that you can contact Wizard of the Coast and you can get a replacement. And I have. So, the foils are something that a lot of people have complained about. I chose not to get foils this time around because of that. So that said, that's the Hollowed Fountain. We've spent plenty of time looking at that. And I'm going to sleeve all of these, of course, when we're done talking here. Next we got the Temple Garden, which this one looks like it's on Theros. Because, yeah, that's Karametra, one of the gods of Theros. Karametra's worshippers know that one must plant countless seeds to ensure a bountiful harvest. Neat. I think it's kind of interesting that, like, Theros and Greece, kind of in general, are known for this particular kind of tree. But then Valor's Reach has, like, the same kind of tree. Those are trees, right? Or are those pillars or some kind? No, never mind. Who cares? And the last one, Breeding Pool. This is the one that's kind of all four. And do we see any blemishes? Any blips? I'm not seeing anything. Okay. It's not the prettiest art in the world, so that's kind of a bummer, but I did need a breeding pool, and this counts. So, where Jin-Gataxias' ingenuity meets Vorinclex's inhumanity. Wow, so this is actually New Phyrexia. We haven't gotten many looks into New Phyrexia since we were back on that plane back in, like, 2010, 2011. So I think it's cool anytime we get a little hint of that. Okay. Well, that's like a $25 card. Oh, and the way that they did this arrangement, and Professor did a whole video about this and how it's kind of a ripoff, is that they went with the Shards of Alara, which means that each one of these has one central color, and then the two colors adjacent to it. And so this pack is Bant, which means white, and its two allies, green and blue. So that means you get the white-green, the white-blue, and the green-blue. And that also means that if you get the green-based pack, then you get green-white, green-red, and white-red. Which means that that's two different packs where you end up with the green-white, meaning that there are two temple gardens among these secret lairs, but there's one breeding pool. So the ally colors, there's more of than the enemy colors in these packs. They didn't have to do that. They could have done all the enemies as one pack and all the allies as another pack. They could have made them more expensive even by a few dollars if they really wanted to. They didn't do that. Because this way, if you want all of them, you have to buy 15 cards instead of 10. Alright, I'm very curious. Come on, I've been seeing some blueprint cards going around the internet recently, and I really hope it's that. It is not. Okay, it's another stained glass Planeswalker from War of the Spark, Tamiyo Collector of Tales. I'm not particularly interested in this card or its ilk anymore. Got a little sticky thing on there. See if I can remove that, because I don't want this thing sticking to other cards. Okay, so that's kind of a bummer, because I've been getting these since the very first Secret Lair. Over a year ago, like almost 2 years ago now, it feels like. And I know that there's other things that people have been getting, and there's only one card in this. Also, it is not flat. It is not. So they likely have thousands of these just lying around. And they're mostly inserted at random, but there are some where it seems to fit a theme, so they go with the one that fits the theme. Like, a cat secret lair would have a Johnny or something. Okay, well, I would say a bit of a disappointment, but honestly, I spent $30 for a $25 card, that I needed. And then the other $5 went to like two $10+ cards and a foil planeswalker. So I got my money's worth, is really what it is. And, you know, there's special versions. The only other one that I bought is the Grixis one. And there's one reason why I bought the Grixis one, and that's because of the, what's it called? The black-red one. Well, we're about to see it. But Blood Crypt? Blood Crypt, I think that's the name. Of course, being an allied color combination... Oh, and I'm trying to be very careful not to, like, bend these at all. So I'm trying to apply enough force to tear open these, but in a direction where if I slip a little bit, it won't, like, bend them in half or something. Okay. Yeah, Watery Grave, which I love. This Watery Grave, the art on it is so cool. Flavor text. Ships go missing in the storm wreck sea all the time. That's why we don't call it the calm, safe current. Captain Lannery Storm. I don't know if that punchline quite hits for me. It's very close. Ships go missing in the storm wreck sea all the time. Why do you think we call it that? Like, I get that. Like, but, the calm, safe current, I think that kind of belabors the punchline a little bit too long. We kind of get it before then, but that's okay. Either way, that implies that this is from Ixalan, and given all the pirate ships and the drowned pirate guys in there, yeah, Ixalan flavor. Love it. And of course, I do have, you know, when you're a Commander player like I am, who's been going long enough, you eventually end up with a multitude of decks. I, of course, do have a black-blue deck that will love to play this, so I'm definitely cramming it in there. But here's the one that I really came for, and the one was tempting me to get it in foil. Blood Crypt. This is set on Innistrad. Vampires invited to a soiree at Markov Manor are expected to bring a guest, or refreshments, or both. And that art... Considering that, like, I have an Edgar Markov Commander deck, and this... Oh, by the way, this is Seb McKinnon art. So I wanted a Innistrad-themed, Markov-themed, you know, version of Blood Crypt. I thought that would be awesome. And we're having the Crimson Vow set coming out soon, and I just think this is amazing. This is just super, super cool to me. So I'm absolutely putting this in my Vampire deck. And then lastly, Steam Vents. Despite being abandoned for millennia, the Thran Ironworks still occasionally sputter to life. Okay, so the Thran are the original inhabitants of Dominaria, the first intelligent civilization on Dominaria. So that means this is Dominaria. Interesting. Okay. You can see little, like, pits and potholes and stuff, because one of the main characteristics of Dominaria these days is that it survived, like, 5 apocalypses, including the set Apocalypse. So, in any case, Steam Vents is a, you know, fairly valuable card, so is Watery Grave, so is Blood Crypt. All these are fairly valuable. Each of these packs is worth more than $30, you know? And I have decks that could play each of them, now will play each of them. And checking the bonus card at the bottom, at this point I'm expecting it to be another one of these stained glass planeswalkers. Oh my god, this one is stuck in there really good though. Oh my god. I almost couldn't get it out without damaging the card. Okay, yeah, that was really tacky. Okay, but yeah, Kaya, Bane of the Dead. In a lot of these cases, I already have the stained glass version of this card because I've been getting, you know, these Secret Lairs the whole time. Quite a few of them. So, and then a lot of these cards, like, that's an uncommon. So it's kind of worthless. And I know that people are starting to get these, like I said, these blueprint cards. And the blueprint cards look so cool. I want those. I want those so bad. So please wrap up, wrap up the stained glass foil planeswalkers from War of the Spark. They're not even standard legal anymore. That's how old this stuff is. They're not standard legal anymore. They rotated. Actually, they've rotated twice, haven't they? Ooh. Okay, this one is stuck, closed, pretty hard. Come on. Come on. No, you probably heard it tearing a little bit just then. Is there something I can stick down in here? Might help me open it a little. Maybe... damn it. It's gonna tear. But honestly, the packaging here doesn't super matter. But it's like this little tab. This little tab right here. It's glued on to the top. And it's supposed to just stick in the bottom. It's not supposed to be glued at the bottom. And yet, a lot of these come seemingly glued at the bottom too. Why? So, okay. Tearing the box then, but box doesn't matter. Yeah, see, it's supposed to be glued here, not here. This is just supposed to be... How did it get stuck? Oh, well. Okay. Also, the packaging on these, people have talked about how much of a waste this is. There's so much packaging. It's true. It's absolutely true. And I know that they have reduced the packaging for future Secret Lairs. I think this is the last set of Secret Lairs they're coming out with this size packaging, because inside there's just a handful of cards. For this much space, you don't need that. So they've reduced the packaging by, I believe, 2/3, and gotten rid of almost all plastic. So that's great. But it's mid-September, and I still received this, so it's not implemented fully yet. That said, this one I had to get in foil. I went fancy on it. This is the Showcase Strixhaven. So these are a handful of... you remember the Mystical Archives from Strixhaven? The Mystical Archives are what convinced me to buy a lot of that set. Those cards are valuable. They are beautiful. They are played in a lot of formats. So maybe not Fractured Identity specifically, but a lot of the Mystical Archive cards, your lightning bolts, your counter spells, they're just classic, iconic things. So I was happy to get just beautiful versions of them. And then this was another pack of Mystical Archive style cards that were not available any other way. I mean, you can get a Fractured Identity that isn't in the Mystical Archive style. But why would you? Beautiful. Beautiful. And these are, well, dang, I was going to say these are like flat, but they're close. They're close to flat. Okay, am I dealing with any roller marks in here or any other oddities? Got my hair in my eyes here a little bit. I'll look through the camera. Yeah, maybe a bit there. You see that? Yeah, in that, in just the right light, yeah, you can see these little horizontal lines. It's weird. On the actual card, I can barely see them in most light, but in some I can. Okay, well, that's Fractured Identity. Drawn in the lock. Does see a little play in like self-mill decks and stuff like that, and the art, once again, is pretty incredible. Fracturing Gust. Oh, I love this style. I've never seen Magic cards illustrated like this before or since I had to get a foil. Shout out to Mintu Heinonen. Love it. Artifact Mutation. This is a card that I should be playing more of. These are all very gold, all very geometric. Fire Covenant. This is actually one of the main reasons why I bought this pack. Was because this card was previously only available in, I believe, Ice Age as an uncommon and hasn't been reprinted since like 1995. And gosh, I'm seeing in the camera here, it's highlighting a lot more of these marks. It makes it a little hard to be proud of it, honestly, to look at these and seeing like, oh yeah, what happened here? So I don't know if this is so much that I want to like complain to Wizard of the Coast, and maybe that's, you know, part of how they get away with it is like, yeah, is it nitpicking? I don't know. I spent like $40 on this pack. I don't know. Oh, and Fire Covenant alone is worth like $10, and never had a foil version before. And All Is Dust. This is one of the big ones for me. I do play All Is Dust in 1 or 2 decks. Beautiful card. And so that is 6 beautiful foil cards instead of 3 like some of those other packs. That's partly why I wanted to go with the foil on this one as well, is because it was, you know, going to be more bang for your buck in a way. And let's see if let's see what I got in the bottom of this one. Is it a Planeswalker? Is it? No, it's one of the blueprint cards, and it's Panharmonicon. See, this is why I wanted to record this. This is exactly why. I knew that there could be some surprises in here, and the Shocklands were one series. The one that I just opened here, the Mystical Archives, the Strixhaven thing, they're kind of another series. Wow, Panharmonicon is a powerful, versatile, valuable, exciting card to put in a lot of decks. It keeps being on the fence for a number of decks of mine because I haven't built a deck that's like specifically about Enter the Battlefield effects, but I've come close. So it keeps ending up on a lot of my deck lists, and maybe one of the last cards I cut sometimes, but for any deck that I've considered playing Panharmonicon, I think I'm going to play this version of it, because this is super special. I wonder how much it's actually worth. I mean, I paid $40 for this whole thing. I don't know. I hesitate to speculate off the top of my head here, not having looked at a Panharmonicon online in a while. But that is exactly the reason why I wanted to record things today, because we might get a surprise like that. Hoping for a surprise like that. I got one. That's a good one, too. As far as I'm concerned, it is. It's a card I'm likely to play. And the last one here is, our show's on Friday. Can you make it? Come on. Once again, it's not supposed to be stuck in the bottom. There's no adhesive. Yeah, it's just sloppy application of the adhesive. Just went over a little bit, I guess. It like dribbled in between there and then got stuck. Oh well. Don't need to keep the boxes looking nice. This card, this stuff. These are some of the most like wild departures from standard Magic design. And I love it. We'll see what that is later. Wrath of God. Okay. There's this weird like clasp on the back. It's like trying to undo a bra without looking or something. I've done that before. There we go. Okay, Wrath of God. But there's a handful of these. And as the name would suggest, they're supposed to be styled as if they were concert promotion posters. So, Wrath of God. So we do still have the mana cost, 2 white, white. We do still have the name of the card along the top. Although, in this case, we have a three-eyed goat. I guess that's Baphomet. We've got the all-seeing eye. A few other, like, occult symbols that I'm not personally as familiar with. Some kind of lizard person here. Actual eye. And then it does say that it's a sorcery. And that sorcery destroys all creatures and they can't be regenerated. It has the rules text on it. All the pieces are here. It's a little hard to tell that it's a white card, but there's white mana symbols over here. But this is just the sickest shit ever. Come on. I mean, especially if you are particularly into the kind of more satanic vibes, but you're playing a white deck. Ooh, how can you resist playing this card? Moving on from Wrath of God, we have the most psychedelic magic card you have ever seen. Preordain. Sorcery for... The mana cost is in the center of his forehead. It's 1 blue. Scry tooth and draw a card. What in the world? There's magenta and cyan stuff going on here. This is incredible. Now, this one, I don't personally play it in Commander, but there are some decks in Commander that would. Any deck where, like, you know, cantrips are good. So, I don't know, Talrand or something. Yeah, this is incredible to look at. Decree of Pain. I definitely played Decree of Pain in a few decks. The mana cost up there. 6 skull. Yeah. Let's see. The rules text. Sorcery. Destroy all creatures. They can't be regenerated. Draw a card for each creature destroyed this way. Cycling is 3 skull. When you cycle Decree of Pain, all creatures get -2/-2 until end of turn. Demons and lightning bolts and stuff. Yeah. Alright, that's really cool. I'm definitely going to play this in some decks. Gamble. Oh my god, I forgot that I got this version of Gamble. Wow. It does just cost 1 red mana. It's a sorcery. Search your library for a card. Put that card into your hand. Discard a card at random, then shuffle your library. It's so pink. It's so pink. And that skull down there is splitting open. And I definitely do play Gamble in at least one of my red decks. I'm going to swap this version in immediately. And Nature's Lore. This one I'm especially happy with. The owl is so cool. Colorless and a green, although usually I'd read it top to bottom. I'd expect the colors to be on top, but, you know, we're taking the liberties here, and we get it. The result is the same. Search your library for a forest card. Oh, that's a little difficult to read, but I know what it does. Search your library for a forest card. Put that card onto the battlefield, and then shuffle your library. Greetings, tired traveler. This reminds me of Kapora Gabora from the Legend of Zelda series. But also, one of the important things here is Nature's Lore has been reprinted a couple of times. The oldest versions have templating and art that looks kind of ugly to me, from like 5th edition and stuff. And the newest versions, which I think look pretty at first glance, are illustrated by Therese Nielsen, and I can't stand her work. And so it's been kind of frustrating. I've been buying like old versions of Nature's Lore to put into some of my green decks. Because I don't want to support Therese Nielsen or spread her art around, really. You know, so this is a whole conversation. But yeah, I'm really happy to have a really cool version of Nature's Lore. Oh, and they reprinted Nature's Lore in the Forgotten Realms Commander set. So there's another version of Nature's Lore that people can acquire there now that doesn't have Therese Nielsen art on it. Same thing with Eternal Witness. Eternal Witness was reprinted many, many times with Therese Nielsen art. Even an alternate art promo was made at one point with Therese Nielsen art. But then They made another version of it for, I think, Ultimate Masters, and that's being reprinted now, including in things like the latest Commander decks. So, that said, what is going to be the last mystery card? It's a Stained Glass Planeswalker, Arlen, Voice of the Pack. Womp womp. It's even an uncommon, and it's one that I've had before, and I don't know why I started to open it. I'm not going to put this in something. I'm probably going to, I don't know, probably just going to add it to my collection, or maybe trade it away, seal at some point, who knows. Okay, so ended on kind of a bummer, but really the high note here, is this foil Panharmonicon. I'm going to try to look up prices after this, but I don't know, 20, 30 bucks? Maybe more, considering. But, well, I'll find out. And in the meantime, I have, one other video that I have planned for this week. And that is the Midnight Hunt set booster box. Full set booster box. A lot of potential for gems in here, especially the list cards. And I heard that the EV, the expected value for Innistrad Midnight Hunt for a draft booster box and a set booster box is roughly the cost of the box, which is lower than normal. Most sets are worth at least a little bit more open when they are closed on average. And that is not the case here. And there's some speculation about that. The most likely speculation I've been hearing is that, first off, paper events are still not being held in large numbers, and so new paper products that go straight into Standard and that are focused on Standard and Draft are not selling super well. They're not highly desired, and cards that are designed for Commander still sell pretty well, and there's plenty of those in here, but the majority of the cards are commons and uncommons and things that are made for draft and for Standard. That's the focus of the set anyway. As opposed to, say, Modern Horizons 2 or, something like that. And also that Magic Arena is the main place where Standard has been played for the last couple of years. And on Magic Arena, they've been playing a format, I believe called Standard 22, where they've been playing without the cards that just cycled this week for a while. People have been practicing with the next version of Standard, minus the cards from this set, for weeks now, months even. And so a lot of times a new set comes out and there's mystery about what the new Standard is going to be like without the old cards in it. What's good? Who knows? It is an experiment. And because of that, the hype and the price of the cards in a new set end up being puffed up because of the mystery. But in this case, the format is more solved than ever. We have decks that we know are good after rotation, weeks, months ahead of this thing coming out, that are made without anything in here. So it's created a starting point of prices for this set that is lower than most. Between those two factors, I think that's totally reasonable. So the set booster box is probably, I paid $125 for it. Odds are I'm going to open about $125 worth of stuff. Whereas most of these box openings, it's been exciting to open, $200 worth of stuff. Sometimes even more with a, lucky foil or something. That's probably not going to be the case here. So measure our expectations. The lands in here, by the way, sometimes lands in these sets are like knocking it out of the park. These ones are just fine. They're just good. They're not excellent. And that often translates into like long-term value for these sets. And was there anything else important to add there? Well, we also have a companion set coming out in a month, the other Innistrad, and those two likely fit together in some ways. So there are vampires in this set, but then there's going to be more in the next set. And there are more werewolves in this set, but there's probably still going to be some werewolves in the next one. So it's almost like we've got kind of like half of a set here in terms of the impact that it'll have on Standard and the decks that are possible. So we'll see a lot of mechanics, I imagine, from this set finished in the next one, and then we'll have more compelling decks. So actually, I wouldn't be surprised if the price on a lot of the cards that are in here is going to rise in 2 months, something like that, as some of the mechanics are more fleshed out then. But that's all left to be seen. I've blathered on for plenty long enough. Thank you for joining me here, and hope you'll join me soon for opening this set booster box as well. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.